This is a message someone sent. I won't say the name in case he doesn't want me to. He says, how I want to ask a question about how you deal with insults regarding your Jewish heritage. And it says that he also comes from an ancient background, an ancient culture, and people sometimes can be mean and make dehumanizing comments, whether you're at work or at school in public gatherings. And also, the media culture seems to have a somewhat degrading image of my particular group. American society at times can be very superficial and too judgmental. There's a lot more. You can go into details. He doesn't want to compare Judaism and his group. Um, however, you know, how do you deal with this on a personal level? This is something you have to remember, even though it seems like, and a lot of times, especially in America, they'll say, the number one superpower. America a lot reminds me of the Hellenists of Alexander the Great, in which they try to, especially since the Cold War, it seems they've tried to go throughout the globe, and they've tried to implant their culture in different places, their democracy, their capitalism, and they've had various levels of success. I think it's important. The first thing with an insult is you have to ask yourself honestly, is this affecting me because there's a grain of truth in it? And if there is a grain of truth in it, the only thing to do is to try to rectify the situation. So if someone says, "Weren't you a little too pushy?" or "Weren't you a little," whatever they could say about you, I don't know exactly what you're experiencing, but if there's truth in what they're saying, then the only thing to do really is to rectify the situation internally, and to try to become a better person from it. This is why anti-Semitism doesn't really bother me. If I sense it's coming from a place of truth, I do my best to try to, negate the negative and to focus more on the positive and to try to minimize what in fact the observer was seeing. The other thing you have to remember is, we're not in first grade anymore. And if people are still going to relate to you with this mentality of let's make fun of you because of who you are, where you come from, or what you believe, there's really no, in my opinion, there's no, if it's coming from a place just of hatred, of senseless hatred, there's no real reason to give it any life, and there's no real reason to respond to it. I had this experience on Facebook. Someone on a secular show made fun of the way Orthodox Jewish women dress, and said they weren't very good dressers. So a bunch of Orthodox Jewish women got together and they made this group showing how beautiful Orthodox Jewish women could be. And my point to them was simply that we don't have to respond to them on their level. Meaning, we sing to Orthodox Jewish women every Friday night, Mishle, it's Proverbs, I believe. And one of the lines is, Sheker achen veheveli efi, that the grace is falseness, is a lie, and beauty is vanity. And in the Jewish world, physical attributes have never been what we've based our society on. They've never been what we've praised. They've never been what we've touted as the reason we're still around today. Rather, it's because God took us into the desert 3,320 years ago and gave us the 613 commandments and the oral law, and everything came afterwards, as was elucidated further in the future generations. And it says, like, I know with Jews, it says, if God told us to be wood choppers, we'd be the best wood choppers. Instead, God told us to learn His Torah. So we're the best that we can be at learning His Torah. Of course, no one's perfect, but we try our best. And my advice too would be, if it's coming from a place of senseless hatred, just understand it for what it is. This is someone who's immature, someone who's choosing to focus on some minuscule aspect of your being, just for the sake of either making himself feel better, because maybe in another realm he senses he's inferior to you, and if that's the case, just see it for what it is. It's just a childish response to you who appear to be a mature being, a mature person. And a lot of times you have to understand some of these things just come from, they'll say later, "Oh, it was just a joke. I was just kidding around. What's the big deal? Don't take it so seriously." And it's tough to know what to do with those kinds of comments because words hurt. Words hurt a lot if you let them. And I don't know. You can either choose to forgive and forget, or you can. I mean, that's really the best thing. It's a very, very hard way to live, to harbor resentment and to carry with you ill feelings towards people or groups of people, especially like the media. You understand the media is out to sell advertising. That's their whole purpose. So any way they can do it, and they've shown this time and time again, there's nothing off limits for the media. They'll make fun of people. They'll put people down. They'll any story. The more fantastic it is, the more they're likely to report on it. And same with these types of people who are just out to, for senseless hatred. They have nothing better to do with their time. They obviously we all have an intellect, and we can choose to focus our intellect on grandiose schemes. We can choose to learn chemistry and science or whatever it is, or we can choose to insult other people for no reason. And if it's the latter, I don't think you should dignify their behavior by responding in any way. The best thing is simply go on with your life, know who you are, know that ultimately there's only one judge of man, and he doesn't have a body, nor does he have a semblance of a body, and he understands your deepest, most thoughts in the sense of the recesses in your heart. He knows everything goes on with you and the person insulting you. So know that that's the only judge of man, and let this person, whatever he has to get out of his system, let him get it out. And it's like, unfortunately, you deal with them like in a first grade way. When you don't respond, this is the worst thing you can do to them. When you don't give it any life, you just kind of move on from the comment and move on from there. This takes away all their energy. This takes away all their life force that they were putting into this. And it's just like a little kid. If you ignore him, eventually he's gonna change topic. He's gonna move to something else. So that's what I do. Hope this helps, and may God bless you to always be proud of who you are and where you come from, and don't let the it says that one of the first laws of the Code of Jewish Law, it says, in the Mishnah, it says, be as bold as the leopard. So it says that, what does it mean? It says, when the scoffers come at you and make fun of you for keeping Jewish law, you have to be bold in their presence, and you have to know that you're keeping Jewish law because God told you to. This, that a scoffer, a human being, can come and make fun of you for it, this doesn't affect your spiritual service at all. You know who you are, and you know you're standing with God. And you know, in your case, where your culture is, and where you stem from, and where you come from, and how rich your heritage is. Don't let the scoffers get to you. And just know that as much as America and American media seems powerful in this country, or maybe even abroad, which I don't think is the case, it's just a drop in the bucket of history. And now it seems to be the greatest thing. Soon something else will be great. China will rise to power. It already has, according to most opinions. And you'll see we'll get a different slant to the world. Don't be so affected by the country you live in. It's only one place on a very big globe, and the media is only a few people out of 6.3 billion. Don't be fooled into thinking that this is the majority opinion, or this is how most people treat other people of different ethnicities and different backgrounds. The truth is, there's nothing more beautiful, in my opinion. There's a saying, variety is the spice of life. I don't really believe it, but in terms of people, it definitely is. The fact that no two people are alike, this is what makes the human experience so rich and so meaningful. The fact that we can learn from other people and other cultures and other societies. This is what makes being a human being so wondrous. We're not all ants, we're not all bees. We're different people with different stories and different backgrounds. And this is what makes, in my opinion, human life so enjoyable. I hope this helps, and we always stay proud and connected to your source, and may you be willing also to learn from other cultures. Thank you so much, and God bless.